Jaleel White needs to drink a big bottle of Sit Your Ass Down. Now available in paperback and e-readers. Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other two books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online booksellers everywhere today. Former Family Matters star Jaleel White has become the latest black celebrity to throw Bill Cosby under the bus. And in a recent interview, the former Family Matters star stated that his ex mentor, Bill Cosby, is paying the appropriate price for the trumped up charges he was convicted on in the sexual assault trial from 2018. Now, your Jaleel White coming out here to speak against Bill Cosby seems to be being done as related to some business ventures he has going on. Because it's not a coincidence that your Jaleel White is coming out to throw Bill Cosby under the bus just a week after he announced that he's going to be selling some new Urkel brand marijuana, and it seems like he wants to get some support from the white supremacist in Hollywood in his business venture. And in order to get that support, he had to make the compromise of throwing Bill Cosby under the bus by saying he's paying the appropriate price for those charges that were trumped up and the false conviction that was received by the unethical prosecutor Kevin Steele back in 2018. And again, it seems like your Jaleel White is only coming out to make this statement because he wants to get ahead with those white supremacist slave masters in Hollywood. And in order to do that, he needs to go out here and show those slave masters who he is truly loyal to so that they can go out here and promote his business ventures and he can reap the rewards. Now, when I take a critical examination of your Jaleel White, he clearly fits the pattern and profile of a sellout. And what he did here with Bill Cosby was show how sold out he is to those white supremacist slave masters in Hollywood and how he'll just do anything to get ahead, including throw a former mentor under the bus. Now, I also believe that your Jaleel White has several grudges against Bill Cosby, and those grudges are some of the things that are also motivating him to look to get even with the former star. Now, your Jaleel White was originally supposed to be the Rudy in the Cosby Show, but Keisha Knight Pulliam got the role instead. And I still think Jaleel White is a little sour about that, and I believe he holds a grudge against Bill Cosby for that, even though there were other executive producers on The Cosby Show, and there was probably not much that Bill Cosby could do as related to who got cast on the show as related to the Cosby Kids. Now, in addition to that, your Jaleel White was being mentored by your Bill Cosby, and it seems like later on in life, your Jaleel White had a bit of a falling out with Bill Cosby. And after he had that falling out with Bill Cosby, even though Bill Cosby went out of his way to help him out, it seems like he's still sour because, yeah, according to this article, your Bill Cosby was the one who, as he was mentoring him, managed to help him get a representation from the William Morris Agency, one of the top agencies in Hollywood. And that's something that Bill Cosby did for him because your Bill Cosby, in many cases, went out here and did a lot of work for a lot of different black people, trying to get them get ahead. But it seems like your Jaleel White, that wasn't good enough for him because it looks like he wanted to go out here and bootlick and brown nose those white supremacists because he's still trying to climb up the ladder with them. So he's sitting there saying that he's upset at Bill Cosby and saying that he's paying the price for a crime that he did not commit. And there's no evidence to, again, really show that Bill Cosby ever committed this crime, because when you take a critical examination of the facts as related to the case, they clearly show malicious prosecution by the district attorney, Kevin Steele, who ran on the platform for district attorney on convicting Bill Cosby, clearly showing bias and malice of forethought. And that conviction that your Bill Cosby received was based on the testimony of hearsay witnesses, something that was not admissible in court. And even the appeals court says that there were numerous judicial errors as related to the trial of Bill Cosby, but according to your Jaleel White, he is paying the appropriate price. Well, I have to ask the Jaleel White a critical question. How is somebody paying an appropriate price when they never committed a crime? Now, according to all of these women who said that Bill Cosby committed all of this sexual violence, when we look at the timeline that they present, many of those females, they say that this went on during the era of Jim Crow, which is the late 60s and early 70s. And again, when you look at the historical context, if Bill Cosby were to have violated white women during the late 60s and early 70s, near the end of the Jim Crow era, all it would take was one allegation of sexual violence, and Bill Cosby would not even be a star, because that white woman in a state like California could have easily gotten Bill Cosby arrested, tried, and convicted back then of these crimes, because Bill Cosby at the time was not a major star. Because during the time when he was doing I Spy, he was not a big time celebrity, and Bill Cosby never had any sort of serious influence in Hollywood like your Redstones, who run the CBS Viacom empire, or many of the other high influential CEOs who can get a project greenlit by just saying the word. Your Bill Cosby was never that influential, and even though the Cosby Show was the thing that revived NBC, your Bill Cosby could not go out here and do what people are saying as related to influence, because your Bill Cosby was a black celebrity, and black celebrities really don't have that much power. But your Jaleel White is going to go along with this narrative because he wants to move his marijuana business ahead, and he would rather sell poison to his people. And that really, again, shows how compromised he is with these white supremacists out here. He would rather throw one of our elders under the bus who went out here and kicked down doors for black people like himself, like he did by getting him connected with the William Morris Agency so he could get better jobs, and a man who went out here and gave numerous black people full ride tuition scholarships and made efforts to get many black celebrities like himself careers in Hollywood. But instead of him showing gratitude to this mentor, instead he throws him under the bus and further promotes the black brute narrative, talking about Bill Cosby as paying the appropriate price. Well, a couple of years ago, your Jaleel White was arrested on domestic violence, I think a couple of years ago, and he doesn't understand that the same narrative being used on Bill Cosby was used on him. And with him being involved with white females, that same narrative can still be used on him once Hollywood decides that they need another brute of the month. And they could easily make him the next brute of the month, because once you go out here and make a compromise like your Jaleel White has, you can easily be thrown right under the same bus you threw Bill Cosby under, because when it comes down to these white supremacists, they usually break their toys, and that's something your Jaleel White just does not understand. is that once you make a compromise with these white supremacists to be their mouthpiece and do their dirty work, eventually they're going to eliminate you. And he doesn't understand that the same, what he thinks is appropriate price for Bill Cosby can easily be the same appropriate price for himself. And I just am deeply disgusted to hear how many of these black celebrities would throw one of our mentors and our icons under the bus, all to get a few cookie crumbs of a butter biscuit from these white supremacists in Hollywood. Because when I look at most of your black Hollywood, sadly, most of these black celebrities are compromised, and many of these black celebrities show us how they have no loyalty to the black community and how they have no real loyalty as related to supporting those in the black community who are in need of help. Because what they did to Bill Cosby is egregious. I mean, are you this desperate to get these crumbs from white supremacist Hollywood to go out here and just go along to get along and throw an elder under the bus? That's a critical question I'd like to ask many of those celebrities like your Jaleel Whites, your Joseph C. Phillips, your Malcolm Jamal Warners, your Jason Momoa's, your what was his name? Lenny Kravitz, your Zoe Kravitz, and many others. Is throwing Bill Cosby under the bus worth getting a job here or there with a movie studio or getting some sort of influence from one of these companies? I mean, when I wrote my book, The Temptation of John Haynes, I have it on the back. Death kills the flesh and compromise kills the soul. And when I look at a lot of these black celebrities, a lot of these people have dead souls as I see it, because they will go out here and make the type of compromises that show me how dead they are inside spiritually. Because to go out here and say that Bill Cosby is supposed to be paying an appropriate price for a crime he did not commit, and then not understand the impact that has on yourself. Because the same thing again that they did to Bill Cosby, these people can do to you. And it's probably going to happen, because once white supremacy can get you to compromise and throw another black man under the bus, they've got another bus waiting for you 5 to 10 minutes later. And when I look at your Jaleel White, again, I just see a textbook sellout, someone who has not only betrayed his mentor, but betrayed the black community. And the more I see of black Hollywood, the more I'm disgusted by it, because it looks like this group of opportunists will do anything for a butter biscuit, and they'll do anything to help out a white person get ahead and they will sacrifice another black person to do it. And again, when I look at the way they have done Bill Cosby, I mean, again, a man who went out of his way to help practically everyone, it just absolutely disgusts me. And I look at this Jaleel White, and I just have to say, you know, he is worse. He's just like many of the black nerds that I've seen online, and he's just as much of a sellout as those black nerds online. And I'm just, again, deeply disgusted when I hear him again say that that Bill Cosby is paying an appropriate price, but he doesn't understand that, again, this could also be him, and he's just not understanding that this type of selling out, it's one of the worst things you could ever do, because you have to look in the mirror at yourself and eventually see the type of monster you've become. And when I look at, again, if he's like a lot of these others in black Hollywood, they're just sad people, because they have no sense of black pride. They aren't really about black empowerment, and they really aren't about elevating the black image. And if this is the case with black Hollywood, then black people need to stay away from black Hollywood and start supporting the people who create new black media. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, You can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my SJS Direct publications that feature positive images of black people, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.